Coming up, who is the villain in these stories? We are going to read Reddit stories straight from the internet and decide, is the user really a villain or were they doing their very best making choices for their travel? Stay tuned.
FYI, I have a birthday party in Epcot that I'm going to, and if I'm going, your kids are going to have to go too. Are you okay with that?
Hey y'all, it's LJ here, owner and founder of Smart Moms Plan Disney and Smart Moms Travel. We are so glad you're here for another episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. Now, here's your host, Allie.
Hey there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. I am your host, Allie. I am here today with Karla and Katie. Good morning, my friends.
Greetings.
Good morning.
We're doing something very fun today. Something I think is something new. And I think our listeners, I think our smarties are going to love and maybe even learn a lot. If not helpful tips, at least maybe some things they want to avoid when they travel. We're going to be reading some Reddit stories and weighing in on how we feel when we hear them, when we hear these things that people have done and asked for opinions out on the internet. But before we do, last night I got really crazy because we were going to, I'm always trying to go on a Disney cruise for spring break, just like continuously trying to do that. The deposit was feeling a little bit like I can't afford it right now. And so I was looking at alternatives and somehow got down a deep rabbit hole and thought, what if I just dig up all of our travel plans and just go to Europe? Which isn't going to save me the money that I was trying to save. And so then I was using just, all of my resources to put together this fake trip to Europe. And do you know how much it ended up costing me when I put together my fake trip to Europe for 5?
I'm going to say $10,000.
I was going to say $20,000+ for a fake trip to Europe.
Well, it was clearly a fake trip because I was just throwing everything in and it was going to be $38,000.
Okay, yeah. I forgot this was an Allie strip. Hold the phone.
Well, it was
Yeah,
a fake,
I was going to say.
it was a fake trip and it was just throwing, the works in. And then I quickly X'd out of all my boxes and was like, oh, I need a travel agent because clearly I did that.
That's so funny. Have you traveled internationally before?
No, I've never been to Europe, right? Which is just tragic. I've been to Canada, Mexico. Great trips, had an awesome time. Been to Costa Rica. That's probably my favorite place I've traveled. Where's your favorite place y'all have traveled? Karla, what's your best?
I think, and my kids ask me this all the time, my favorite vacation to date is a summer trip to Yellowstone with our best family friends and their kids. It was just really well planned out, and we split a house on a lake where my kids could jump in and not get eaten by anything because since we're in Florida, like any body of water that we go into, there's a chance you're going to die.
Yeah, absolutely.
Between the riptides, the sharks, the jellyfish, the alligators.
I
Like,
was
you're
saying,
gonna die.
why are alligators like 6th on that list? That should be a number 1.
No, I know it's crazy. Well, because we just pretty much avoid fresh water here.
Yeah.
But that was one of my favorite parts was that the kids could just go in the lake and be free and do whatever. But also that the scenery was amazing. And then from Yellowstone, we went to the Grand Tetons, and that was equally as amazing.
We haven't done any national parks yet. We're not a big like hiking adventure family. I want to be, but my kids are little and I want to do it when they're not going to complain about it,
Yeah, you're gonna have a small window.
Yeah.
I have traveled out west before and I do love being out west. Like Colorado is completely beautiful. That's where Matthew and I honeymooned. But I would say my favorite place that I've traveled is Scotland. Back in 2011, I was a music major at the time at Westminster College, and we toured all of these different castles and cathedrals all across Scotland, and we got to perform in them. And
Oh, that sounds
so,
amazing.
oh, it was such an incredible, like, once in a lifetime experience. And I loved so much of exploring, getting to breathe the air, and it immediately takes me back.
When we went to Mexico, it was on a school trip, and it was back when you could climb all of the pyramids. I'm fairly certain you can't do it anymore. Like Chichen Itza and the sun and the moon, like all of that. And we did it all the way to the top of them, and that was awesome. That's probably the best I've done. But yeah, I was just pipe dreaming, and it's one of those things where I didn't actually put any thought into it. I was just throwing elements together. I was like, oh, give me the
You
best.
climb the pyramids in like Mexico, those
Mm-hmm.
like Aztec.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, did you really climb pyramids in Egypt?
No, Mexico. I haven't been to Egypt. What?
No, I know. That's why I was wondering when you
No,
said
that
that.
as
And then you started saying all these weird words. I had no idea what you were talking about.
Mexico and like the Mayan ruins and stuff like that. I have pictures.
Temples and yeah,
Yeah.
ruins. Yeah,
I
okay.
have pictures. We're up there massive, first of all. And I do have all these pictures of us standing at the top, and it was so hot. I remember that. And Costa Rica, you guys, with like macaw parrots just flying over you and monkeys swinging in the trees. Legit.
Oh,
Amazing.
Yeah. So good.
that's amazing.
Yeah, I was just there on a dance trip actually, and we got to bookend with some beach time, and it was wild. It was really cool. Right now we just keep sticking to our favorites because it's easy with my kids. But for me that's what works.
You know, like the new hashtag, and Stacy's probably going to cut this out, but it's FIBI. Do you know what it stands for?
Yes. I was just talking about this last night.
That's it, book it. It's like the
Yeah.
greatest thing. My girlfriends and I were sitting by the pool and we did a little FIBI action and booked some concert tickets. And I was so mad at myself the next morning because we paid more in fees than the actual tickets cost. And I was so
Where are you?
pissed.
Who are you seeing? Who are you seeing?
We're seeing Glass Animals.
Okay, I don't know Glass Animals.
Yep. Yep. Nobody probably does, but they're great
Yeah.
and they're a total vibe. And we're going to go in the middle of June in an outside venue where I just realized because I saw a video that the roof got blown off during the hurricane. Pretty sure the roof is still off. And so I think we're just going to be sitting in the blazing sun. But FIBI.
So my friends and I did that a couple of weeks ago. Well, I had already done it, and then I got my friends also a little influenced to do it and book. I'm going to see Hamilton in New York. I've seen it 4 times.
Leslie Odom's back.
Yeah, I got tickets the second they went on sale. I got an email and I was like, "Oh, FIB." Just like you just said, I was like, "I'm buying those." I had them in 4 minutes flat, and then now I've just been coercing my friends to go. Like, "Hey, I'm doing this thing, and yes, tickets are crazy expensive, but
It's the new YOLO. YOLO's out.
mhm.
And look at us millennials coming up with our own language.
It's much better too." I try to live my life that way. Like we're seeing Hamilton, we're going to see Gaga this year at Madison Square Garden, which I've never seen a show there, so I'm super excited.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. Maybe a little better than the glass statues or whatever. The glass menagerie.
Glass animals. The glass menagerie.
What?
I've never seen a show anywhere. The most I can hang my head on is Maroon 5 at Hershey Big
Yeah,
Stadium.
you need to do something about it too, because literally since the day Karla and I met you, we've heard about Maroon 5.
This is true.
Maroon 5 has come up in far too many conversations. Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to read these stories. I am really excited to dig in and hear what these people have to say and react in real time. These are stories none of us have heard yet, so it's going to be fun. This episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast is brought to you by BabyQuip, the #1 baby gear rental service across the US, Canada, and beyond. There is nothing more difficult for my family with 3 young kiddos than when we are traveling. We're just out of rhythm without our things. We just feel out of step and our kids feel off. It can make our vacation feel so much more stressful than it needs to. With a wide range of baby and toddler equipment available, including cribs, strollers, car seats, toys, and more, BabyQuip helps give us some of that normalcy that our kids crave and we need as parents when we are away from home. When they're happy, we're happy. And by using local quality providers that are often moms, dads, and grandparents just like us and you smarties that are listening today, BabyQuip makes sure that you are working with somebody who understands the needs of your family firsthand. If you need it, they have it. All products follow strict cleanliness and safety protocols and are also insured to give you that extra peace of mind that you need to really enjoy your vacation. With convenient delivery to your location, whether it's a home, a hotel, a vacation rental, wherever you're calling, home away from home, they've got you covered. BabyQuip is available in over 1,500 cities, making it accessible. So whether you're heading to Disney World, Disneyland, or another travel destination, BabyQuip will be there for you. With their easy-to-use online platform, you don't have to stress about getting your products. Head to babyquip.com. Use code SMPOD, that's SMPOD, to get $30 off of any order of $150 or more. That's babyquip.com. Pack light, travel happy. All right. I think it's important to say these stories.
This is Katie's dream, this episode.
This is Katie's dream.
Yes. So my guilty pleasure is we like to watch people read Reddit stories on YouTube all the time. So whenever we were doing this episode, I was so pumped to be doing it. So today we're going to be reading Reddit stories and reacting. And I'm the only person who has read the stories so far.
Yeah, and
But
I don't even think you've
yeah.
read them all, have you?
I mean, I curated them.
I was gonna say, gosh, I hope so. We could be reading some really like raunchy stuff here.
Katie's dream, and none of these stories have a resolve. Can I say that?
They do have results, yeah.
What do we mean results?
Updates.
Resolve?
Updates.
Okay, so none of these stories have updates. They may have been resolved, but then like the original poster may not have given an update. But some of the ones that we're reading are pretty recent. Like we have some that were like 3 months ago. We have one that was 21 days ago.
Let me
So
get this right. This is somebody that is just putting something out on the interwebs, looking for random people, sometimes trolls, to respond.
yes, this is
And
true.
and today maybe we get to be a little bit of the troll.
They want to know what we think. That's what this is. They have put this out there and they need opinions on what people think about their scenario.
This is Katie's dream. That is my nightmare. Like, let me ask the public for their opinion.
Yeah. Let me ask people what I think about their opinion on this very controversial thing I may or may not have done.
I'm kind of looking forward to this. Proceed.
All right.
Let's get into
All right,
it.
Katie, this is your dream. So I'm giving you the baton here for story number 1.
All right, here we go. We're going to dig into our first story. This one is going to be, am I the villain for taking my grandchildren to Disney for the first time without their mother and refusing to apologize when confronted?
That's starting out well.
Okay.
Does it really say villain, Katie?
On Reddit, if you know Reddit stories, it probably says a different
Yeah,
word, but we're going to go with villain today.
I'm also curious already how this grandmother got these children. Like she was confronted after the trip. How'd she get the children to Disney before she was confronted?
Yeah, this is interesting.
All right, let's hear it.
I'm so interested to see what happens. All right, let's go. So it says, my son made this account and asked me to post this story because he claims my normal meter is skewed and the internet is going to tell me I'm the villain. I recently babysat my grandchildren, ages 5 and 4, for a period of 4 nights and 5 days, so my son and his wife could attend a wedding in Mexico.
Oh no, this was spontaneous.
Listen, and spend a few days on vacation. They approached me since her mother would not be able, and I initially said I wasn't comfortable with that. It seemed like a long time to watch kids, and she said point blank that the woman's side of the family is more important than the man's. So I was irritated. I was
Say
being...
the shade of grandma here and her low-key digs.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
keep going.
there's some drama.
I'm gonna think that the tension here did not start with this trip to Disney. There is a past tension. We are
Definitely not.
So it says, so she was irritated that she was being asked and not her mother. I will admit that I did give in when my son became very emotional,
Oh my
but
God.
I feel that they were being manipulative.
I was gonna say son knew how to play mom.
Yeah, come on.
If son sheds
Yeah.
a tear, then it's game over.
So this says, while I had the kids, I was invited to a birthday at Epcot and wanted to go. It didn't even occur to me to run it by my son or daughter-in-law, as I had the kids for an extended period of time, and obviously they knew they would be going where I went.
Okay. Who's the birthday party at Epcot? I want to go to that.
Yeah.
Here's a question. If a last minute birthday party at Epcot, first of all, everybody an annual pass holder. Second of all, how you getting to Disney? How you getting to Epcot for a birthday party the week of?
I've never been invited to a birthday at Epcot. Do you think she really had a birthday at Epcot, or is that
No.
her like that's her
Cover story.
That's her, yeah.
This was like, it was her friend's birthday and she said, we should go to Epcot to celebrate.
Yeah, this grandma's conniving. Okay, proceed.
My daughter-in-law had previously mentioned to save up for Disney, but she said that about a lot of things and never made me aware it was something super special to her. Also, it was Epcot. It's not like I took them to Magic Kingdom and they had some magical moment of seeing their favorite character. Oh my. When they returned and found out, my daughter-in-law was furious and burst into tears. She said I stole one of her kids' firsts and called me entitled. To be honest, I didn't react well to being called entitled when she was the one who had previously demanded babysitting. My son asked me to apologize as she was distraught over missing their first Disney trip, but I declined and asked them to leave. My son reached out again and said I should have asked something that big and his wife feels robbed. I know she is a huge Disney person, but it was Epcot, not quintessential Disney. And I don't feel I should have to miss out on a birthday party I wanted to attend. I told my son I am not apologizing for anything, and maybe they should think about how they made me feel when they didn't respect my initial no. My son feels like Reddit is going to show me the error of my ways.
I think there's a lot of villains in this story.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here. There's a lot to unpack here. This is not just, this is like Mal and her daughter. They're like living on the Isle of the Lost. There's clearly past tension. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I would respond well to my kids being on Disney property without me.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. So what's interesting here is she says, I just took them to Epcot. It's not like they had this magical moment. She's saying Epcot is not quintessential Disney. I don't think you can get much more quintessential Disney than Epcot. Like that was Walt's vision.
I'd like to know where they live. And is Epcot just like an hour away? Did she fly the grandchildren down to Disney to go to Epcot?
And did her friend who had a birthday party literally say we're all going to Epcot in 3 days and she had no time to tell the family that they were going to Epcot?
I think this whole situation could have been resolved with just more communication in general. Grandma putting her foot down and saying no. And or if she says yes, but then say yes, but FYI, I have a birthday party in Epcot that I'm going to, and if I'm going, your kids are going to have to go too. Are you okay with that?
Which immediately brings us back to, was this really a last minute birthday in Epcot? No way.
So there is a commenter on it and it says info. How close do you live to Epcot?
Okay, yes.
I assume close enough to take a day trip with 2 small children and come back the same day. Do your son and daughter-in-law also live near you? And she responded, original poster said, I live 2 hours away and they live about 3 hours away, but don't want to do Disney as a day trip and they think they would need 4 to 5 days.
Okay, so bad on the parents for not taking their kids to Disney yet when they live that close and they're 4 and 5 years old. They had 3 years to take them for free. So why are you complaining about costs?
Yeah. Oof. I think everybody's a little wrong here.
Yeah.
There's an option in Reddit for the resolution to be everyone sucks. And my opinion on it is it probably should have been everyone sucks. But what do you think the resolution was? Because this post was made a year ago.
I think people called her the villain.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd be okay if my parents took my kids to Epcot for their first time. I mean, there's going to be plenty of other times. I don't know. I think they both suck.
Interesting. So the conclusion was not the villain, actually.
I wonder if the son has read this because he was so certain that Reddit would call her the villain.
I'm sure he has, right?
Oh yeah, the comments have raked the son across the coals. I hope your son feels humbled here today. Like so many people commented saying, not the villain. They asked you to babysit, like this should have been a thing. But I'm like, you could have made a phone call or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, my mom takes my kids all the time. I feel like if she's taking them into Disney World gates, I want to know about it.
Yeah, I just think better communication.
Yeah.
And I don't know, why was mom so hysterical? Like, you just got your kids babysat for 4 nights, 5 days. Thank you so much, Grandma, for returning my kids happy.
Probably happier than you left them since they went to
Yeah.
Disney World.
While you went to your all-inclusive in Mexico. Like,
Yeah.
next time, take your kids with you if you're that concerned about it.
I want to point out too, though, like if you're grandma and you're going to celebrate a friend's birthday in Epcot, do you want your 4 and 5-year-old grandkids tagging along?
Yeah. No, I don't know. Yeah, and like, who drove Grandma home?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. Because now at this point, we have a safety concern.
A lot.
Yeah.
Okay, lots of wrong going on.
If anything else, I'm mom crying because I'm worried about who drove the kids. Okay, Karla, you take story number 2.
Okay, what does AITA mean?
It's Am I the Villain?
Am I the
Am I the villain?
Okay. AITB. Am I the villain?
Yeah.
I think I just gave away what villain stands for.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I the villain for taking off my shoes on a flight? Recently, were you going to start already?
I can't say, well, I just may or may not need to know the answer to this because I may or may not be able to relate.
If I'm in the if I'm in the aisle with my family, I'm taking off my shoes. As long as my feet don't stink, if I'm not wearing like Hey Dudes around Disney and then taking them off on the flight on the way home, because that's disgusting. Recently, I traveled to another country to attend a metal concert. The flight was going to be.
Was it the glass statue of animals?
Are we reading the right story, Katie? Does this have anything to do with Disney?
We are.
Okay.
Go ahead. This doesn't have anything to do with
The
this.
flight was going to be 1.5 to 2 hours. I only had a carry-on with me, but I wanted to wear my knee-high Doc Martens, which are heavy and big and wouldn't fit in my carry-on. Even if they did, they'd be awkward to carry. But I also didn't fancy to sit in them for the duration of the flight in a small space. I can only imagine the stench and the heat and the sweat that is created by knee-high Doc Martens. Are you kidding me?
Like if you rank shoes in the order of which they would create that smell, that has to be up there in the top 3.
Let's give an example. Katie, your daughter just had a cast for a couple of months. How did that smell when that came off, Katie?
It did not smell great. We live in Florida. There have been a lot of sweaty moments. It was not a great smelling cast.
Like, did she have a bag that she put those shoes in and maybe like a smaller pair of shoes or a clean pair of socks to put on her
Okay,
feet?
let me continue. Let's continue. So I made sure they don't smell, preventively sprayed them with shoe spray before I left home. Well, at least she's considerate.
Mm-hmm.
But she knew she was taking these shoes off. When I sat down in my seat, I took my shoes off and put on fresh socks. So my shoes were under my legs. They weren't bothering anyone. Okay, I can appreciate this. This is the proper steps to take if you're taking off your shoes. I retract all the things that I said prior to this.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. Because if she's going to a metal concert, she does need knee-high Doc Martens. Like she has to have them.
And you know what? If she was a real villain, you know what she would have done? She would have not put extra socks on, and she would have put her dirty shoes on the seat next to her if she was flying Southwest in hopes that that seat would be empty the whole flight. That's what a villain would do.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think she was being very conscious about the people around her. Okay. A lady was about to sit next to me and she saw that I didn't have shoes on and she freaked out, calling me disgusting, etc. I tried explaining that I had clean socks, but she demanded I put my shoes back on. I refused.
Yeah. The other lady's the villain here. I'm already just going to call her that.
Like, talk about entitled. She called the stewardess, and I explained again. The stewardess told her there was nothing she could do because I wasn't breaking any rules. The lady was huffing and puffing all throughout the flight. She's just angry. She also filmed me when she was berating me, so who knows, I may be online by now. But I tried to ignore her and just put my headphones on.
I can't believe.
Oh,
I cannot believe that she filmed her.
that's far
And
worse.
people are terrible. Okay, the lady even complained about this when we were giving our passports and they ignored her as well. I told my friends about this and they're kind of divided. Some agree with me and some say it's kind of gross and I could have been more accommodating and put my shoes on. Am I the villain for taking my shoes off?
No, not under these circumstances. First of all, you need those boots for your concert, and they likely will not fit in your check bag. You know, like I know I have no extra room in my check bag, and I know how big a pair of those shoes are. So I think she problem solved the best she could. She did not break a rule. Fresh socks were like number 1 on my list. She could not have her gross toes just all over the flight. I am a person that brings fresh socks on a flight because sometimes it's uncomfortable to have your shoes on for that long and you're sitting in a small space.
I want to point out though that it does say it's just a 1.5 to 2 hour flight. It is a shorter flight. So does that make this a little more egregious?
No.
No, not when you're wearing those. I mean, those boots probably weigh 5-10 pounds.
Easily. Yeah, no, she's not the villain here. And if I had to guess what the resolve is, I would say the internet agrees with me.
I think the way she did it was very considerate. She really thought through it, as opposed to some jerkhole that's just taking, like I said, taking their stinky Hey Dudes off after 17 days at Disney with no socks on.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
Demanding somebody fix something that isn't breaking a rule just feels like far more of your problem than theirs.
Hey Dudes without socks around Disney are disgusting. Take that off.
Karla has a hey dude bad experience.
My best friend wears them all the time, and she's like, "Do you like them yet?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not. Absolutely not." She's
No.
like, "Try them on." I was like, "No, your feet have been sweating in there for days. I'm not putting my feet in that. No."
Oh, cheese and rice. Yeah, I have to say, I feel like it's a bit sanctimonious of the woman to react the moment that she got to the aisle and saw that she was barefoot and was like, oh my gosh, you have to put your shoes on. I would never presume to tell another
No
person,
way.
like a stranger, what are you doing? You're disgusting. Put your shoes on.
No way. So what's the answer here? What does the internet agree with? Karla, that's you.
Well, I already clicked to the next story. Wait.
It's the blue tag at the top.
Oh, not the villain.
No.
You are not the villain, girlfriend. Proceed with your metal concerts and your knee-high Doc Martens.
All right. I've got the next story here. It is, am I the villain for canceling a Disney trip?
Yes.
Yes.
Immediately,
Immediately,
yes.
yes, for sure. Advice needed. Am I the villain for canceling a Disney trip? I have two girls, ages 7 and 5. We've had this trip booked in advance for quite some time now. We were scheduled to leave in about 12 days from now. Oh no. However, my kids have been consistently fighting, shoving, bullying each other, not wanting to do homework, and straight up not listening to me. My thing is, if they can't behave at home, there's no way they would behave outside of the home. To save myself the mental torture of blowing thousands just to have a trip from bleep due to their behavior, this morning I decided I was done and I canceled the trip. The trip would have only consisted of me and them going for a week. Am I the villain?
Oh boy.
This is hard.
I have a lot of thoughts.
This is
Oh
hard,
my
but
gosh.
you know
This
what
is so
drives me
hard.
nuts? Are empty promises that parents make.
Mhm.
And those
Amen.
consist of like, if you don't get your grades up, we're not going on our summer vacation. And this is a mom probably threatening that for a long time and them just continuing to misbehave. And mama had enough. And
Yeah,
she put
I
her
don't
foot
know.
down and she said, I certainly hope this wasn't like a one, and it doesn't sound like it. It sounds like they've been doing this bad behavior for a while,
Yeah.
like they needed a little bit of a lesson here. I also don't think mama really wanted to go that bad.
Yeah, I feel like, first of all, we try in our house not to create punishments that punish us. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, this is definitely one.
Yeah.
yeah, that's tough. This one almost crosses into parenting advice, though, and I'm super careful about not giving unsolicited. I mean, I guess this is solicited, but I just think that I don't live inside anybody else's home, and it's really hard to know what they're going through. Would that have been my consequence? Likely not. But also, I mean, consequences to actions. This is a tough one, man. Like, this is such a fine line of parenting.
So I'm reading a couple of the comments, and one of them that I kind of like is, I hope you use this as a teachable moment and allow them to earn the trip back for another time. And I think that that's smart. Like, you just missed out on this epic thing because of your behavior. Let's turn it around. Let's start making better decisions. And then in return, you earn your trip back.
So first of all, she could have moved that trip and all the money she already paid in would just move right with it. We know that as like a Disney thing. And in our family, one thing we do is we say we live by the Frozen effect. And in this situation, if we were trying to do what Karla just said, we would say we have to do the next right thing. Just like Anna says, that's what we always tell our kids. Like, nobody's perfect. You may have made this mistake or you may have messed up here. That's okay, but you got to do the next right thing. So instead of just, you're done, you've lost it, you know, how can you do the next right thing to earn it back? And maybe she just moves the trip. So, I mean, it's harsh. And
What do you have to say? I feel like you're in this 5 to 7 age range.
mhm.
Have you ever had plans to go to Disney now that you live so close and you just had to put a stop to it?
Yes. So I feel this mom so much because she envisioned this really perfect trip with her daughter. She does say that she would have been solo parenting with her two girls that are ages 5 and 7. I have girls that are all in that same age range, right? Like my girls are 8 to 4 right now. And my older two are neurodivergent. And so what happens is one gets overstimulated and has the opposite problems as the other. And so they fight like oil and water a lot. What happens to me as a local Disney mom, like we do go to the parks every week, but we're starting to get to the point in summertime where I could be taking them more by myself. And there have been times where I have been like, if you will cooperate for today, tomorrow we could go to Animal Kingdom. And I've had to say, we are not going to Animal Kingdom tomorrow, in fact. So I respect the mom for holding the line and being like, there are consequences for your actions, and I really need you to get with the program, right? So I respect that.
Well, I just have a hard time. I have, my kids are still learning to regulate their emotions, so you can't expect perfection. It sounds like her bar is a lot lower than perfection, but I just mean, this is like a parenting advice one. It makes me uncomfortable because none of us are doing the exact right thing all the time.
Oh, for sure. And I'm definitely a hot mess mom. Like, I'm not here to pass judgment on anybody else or anything. But what I will say, what has helped me is everything is a surprise. I very, very seldom tell my kids that there's plans coming up. The anticipation is not a fun factor on our house, it's an anxiety-inducing factor.
You get ahead of it before by just not saying anything.
Exactly.
Yep.
Everything is a surprise in our house as well, even if we're going to the jump park tomorrow. Not because it's anxiety inducing, but things can change on a whim. And I don't want to have said we were going to do something and then we don't do it. And it was a circumstance out of our control. So even in that circumstance, like I don't like to take things away that big. So I personally can't imagine taking a Disney trip away. But like I said, it sounds like maybe it's not their first once in a lifetime trip. And it sounds like it's been consistently maybe a problem. Hopefully she talked to them about regulating their emotions. And if you don't get control of this, like we're gonna not be able to take the trip. I'm sure there was a lot of that happening.
I would say that she is not a villain, that she's a superhero and she's taking care of two kids and was at one point willing to take them to Disney.
I would say not the villain. And I would say so because, we're all just doing our best. And she was at the end of a rope that we've all been on.
Yeah. So I want to point out the story was published 3 months ago and the jury's still out on it. So it says advice needed. So they didn't come to a formal conclusion. A lot of the comments say she's not the villain. For as much as my own girls are like oil and water and don't get along with each other, I joke that part of the Disney magic is like as soon as we're on Disney property, they get along great. We're hugging, we're holding hands, we're best sisters forever. Like
my girls love to match at Disney. Like they want to dress alike. That would never really happen at home. And I've told stories about my own brother and I. Like we get along so great now, but when we were younger, a lot of it was our drives to Disney and our time at Disney. That's where we got along our best. All right, Katie, I can't wait to read this next one.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? Before we read this next one, we're going to take a break. Let's hear from our segment, Friend Like Me, some other travel agent friends, smart moms agents out there doing their thing in the social media world while you are listening and not passing through this segment because you stand to learn a lot by following and joining these online communities. Be sure to also share this episode with a friend. If you're laughing and smiling along with us, if you are passing conclusions over whether or not these Reddit users are villains or not, I'm sure that your friends will also like to do that. So share it with them so they can play along, have fun with us, and we'll be back on the other side. Sometimes planning a trip to Disney is hard stopped when you think about that budget. You have to join our friends at Smart Moms Plan Disney on a Budget on Facebook. You can get real experiences and real advice with budget-friendly strategies from people who have been there and done it. These aren't just ideas. These have been executed and they've seen the savings. They have hacks to maximize your time and money with lesser known tips. They constantly are on the hunt for those deals and discounts, and they even have a freebie. If you join our friends, Smart Moms Plan Disney on a Budget on Facebook. Okay, Smarties, where are all of my last minute mamas at? You have joined our group Last Minute Disney World Trips on Facebook. This group may be directed to planning last minute trips to Disney World, but they can help with trips to any destination. Not all of us have our ducks in a row years in advance. And you know what? With this Facebook group, you really don't have to. They will give you the best tips and advice so you don't miss the need to know things. The team there is filled with women who have experience in taking trips with their families with very little notice. You don't have to plan early to have a great time. And Last Minute Disney World Trips on Facebook will help you get there. All right, we're back. Hopefully, while you were sharing this episode with your friends, you also gave us a 5-star review. Remember that leaving us a 5-star review helps us continue to do what we are doing. We have so much fun doing this. We love hanging out with our smarties here on the pod every single week and in our online communities. And when you leave 5-star reviews, it's a simple, quick, easy, free way to help your favorite podcast hosts here. So thanks for doing that. And Katie, it's to you.
Okay, so this next story is more about an adults only kind of trip, it sounds like. And I'm interested to hear what happens with this one. So, am I the villain for ruining my daughter's dream Disney World marriage proposal?
Yes. Like, is the conclusion here that the proposal is actually going to be ruined?
We'll have to find out.
This happened 21 days ago. So that somebody is freshly engaged or not. Read.
This is very fresh. What do you think is going to happen with this one, Carla?
But I don't know. Just read it.
She's gonna be like, let me see your hand, or she's gonna say, did you propose yet? Or something like that.
Okay, let's see. So this one says throwaway and fake names. So they made like a fake account. It says, she's a 51-year-old woman. My daughter, Sarah, who is 29, is now engaged to Lily, who is 32. During Sarah's childhood, on multiple occasions, she had told me that her dream place to get engaged was Disney World. When Lily told me she wanted to propose to my daughter, I suggested Disney World. For Sarah's 29th birthday, her birthday present was that Lily and I were taking her to Disney World for the first time there. Okay, so there's already a lot pinging on this trip.
Can you imagine how much stress and pressure is involved in planning this right now? You have a massive surprise, a first visit, a life milestone.
Huh. Well, not really a life milestone. She's only turning 29.
There's a
Oh, I
lot.
guess the milestone of getting married.
Getting
Yeah.
engaged. Getting
I was like,
engaged.
29 is no big
Maybe.
deal.
Yeah, I didn't even think about the birthday. Add that there too.
It says Sarah seemed so happy. This part is relevant to later events. She wore gray sweats, sneakers, and no makeup. While having fun, she got sweaty and stinky, her words. She looked the happiest I've ever seen my daughter. I was filming her with my phone. Later that day, Lily proposed to Sarah, and Sarah said yes and then kissed. I thought my daughter got her dream marriage proposal. But later that week, Lily expressed to me that Sarah told her that she didn't like how both of them looked and smelled on her 29th birthday.
Gosh.
Oh no.
Oh man.
That Sarah said if she had known this was going to be a proposal place instead of just a birthday present, she would have made sure that both of them looked like a princess. I told Lily to let me tell Sarah that Disney World was my idea, but Lily said she doesn't want me to take the blame.
Oof.
I know.
Blame for a proposal? Yikes.
I had to beg Lily to allow me to take the blame before she gave me permission. When I told Sarah that Disney World was my idea, she lost it on me. She said, how could I allow her to look that way on her proposal? That I should have made sure that she looked like a princess and made sure the proposal came early in the day so she doesn't get messy having fun before the proposal. Despite her telling me Disney World was her dream proposal place, she was completely surprised. Am I the villain? Oh boy.
No. Absolutely. I am like very team mom is not the villain
I
here.
am too. I'm so tired of everybody, and you know what it is? It's social media that portrays that
Yeah.
every proposal has to be this super elaborate. My nails are done, my hair is done, my makeup's done. I'm wearing the perfect outfit. My prince is going to come in, or princess is going to come in and sweep me off my feet and ask me to marry them. And it's just, the mom says she looked the happiest I've ever seen my daughter. So why
Yeah.
would anything else matter? You get to marry the love of your life. You're at Disney for the first time on your birthday. Like, why do you have to find the negative in anything that happened that day?
The thing to me is, it's like it is social media because it's supposed to look a certain way,
Mhm.
but really it should feel a certain way. And that's what it sounds like Sarah has lost touch with, because it sounds like it did feel that way.
I guess if anything, Mom and Lily maybe should have considered doing a capture the moment after the fact, or doing something the next day that they could have gotten with, one of the cast members and actually taken like professional pictures and solidify
Yeah.
the engagement and the excitement of it all. But my goodness.
So that would have been nice, but also Mom and Lily have already planned a Disney World vacation, a
Yeah.
surprise, a birthday, a proposal.
They're thinking they did the
I'm
greatest
like, if I
thing.
did all that,
Ugh.
I planned a fireworks cruise and I was offended when people said they were cold. Like I'm like, I did this thing. It was a surprise. Like if I did that and then there was any negativity, I'd be like, absolutely not. This is beyond.
I feel like the piece that we don't get is we envision for so long what these moments are going to look like in our lives. And then it's so easy to sort of set ourselves up for disappointment whenever things don't look exactly the way that we intended. But you have to be hands off, and those are the moments that you're going to cherish the most. Like you are not going to remember 10, 25, 50 years from now that you were sweaty and stinky. You're going to remember the love of my life proposed to me and we just started this beautiful life together. I had the most incredible trip.
Also, were you at Disney World? Are you engaged? I can't stand that the title of this is I Ruined the Dream Proposal. It wasn't ruined. It all happened.
Also, this is 21 days ago, and it is currently May 28th, and you were wearing sweatpants to Disney in May. So that's on you, girlfriend.
Yeah.
Gray sweatpants.
I agree.
Facts. It has been at
Yeah,
least 90 every
absolutely
day here
not.
for
Yeah,
I don't know
that's a
how
fair
long.
point. Yeah, you're not the villain. Does Reddit
Yep.
agree with us or is there no resolution?
So because this one is still really new, it still says advice needed, but all of the comments indicate that she is not the villain. Everyone seems to be saying like,
Absolutely.
no, that's not on you, Mom. It feels like maybe Sarah might be a little bit entitled.
Yeah.
The comments aren't as kind to her as I will be today.
Yeah, I agree. Somebody said dressing for comfort was her choice. Lily, for her part, could have hinted to dress nicer for the proposal without giving reason. And somebody said, it's not clear to me that sweatpants are ever comfortable in Orlando.
Yeah.
I agree.
Fact.
I agree. Okay, Karla, you get the last story here.
Am I the villain for planning a Disney trip without my stepdaughter and leaving her with her father? Okay. I, 41-year-old female, and husband, 41 male, have 4 children. I have one child from a previous relationship. He has 2, and we have 1 together. We have always treated the children as equally as possible, though with the extended family, they don't always go on the same trips if we don't go. Example, his parents take his children on vacations and my child doesn't want to go without me. This has never been an issue, but when we plan trips, we always take everyone. Okay, so that's not a good start if you're saying that we always take everyone and we're not going to go and take our stepdaughter. Okay. The problem is that my stepdaughter, 16 female, doesn't really like anything that anyone else does. That's a little dramatic.
Yeah.
I
Does
mean,
not, it literally
Yeah.
does.
I get that.
It literally does not matter. No, 16-year-olds don't like anything.
Yeah, exactly. So this year we had been talking about Disney for a while. My nephew has always wanted to go with us because he has no siblings. Her father said she would have a lot of work to catch up on when she got back. He does seasonal work and has to take the work while he can. The kids agreed they wanted to go and he wanted us to. So I made the plans and we decided to go back another year with all of us. I made the reservations for myself, sister, nephew, and 3 of our children, deciding stepdaughter can stay back with dad since she did not want to go anyways. My husband says I'm the villain for not planning for her to come too. Am I the villain?
Edited to add, I asked stepdaughter several times if she wanted to go as I planned, so she would know at each stage if she had changed her mind. She was adamant every time that she didn't want to go, and her dad says she always says she doesn't want to go, but then would regret missing out. This is based on last summer's vacation when she said she didn't want to go, but then loved it. We were at the campground and it rained the whole time. We were pretty miserable and she thought it was funny. I don't know if all that's true and they're going to do another trip. Probably not a problem that they went without her if she said she didn't want to go.
You know what though? We're seeing that she got asked several times if she wanted to go and she said no every time. But the dad is just insisting that she would be the one missing out. But I mean, if she's saying that she doesn't want to go.
I've planned a lot of Disney trips and there are several families that will say to me, oh, she's 17 or he's 17 and there's maybe younger kids involved and like he doesn't really want to go. And you give kids that age the autonomy and the choice to decide if they want to go or not go. And if she says no, you can't read her mind. I guess my point is I don't see a problem with leaving a 16-year-old behind if they've said they don't want to go.
I agree. I've done this with my own son. He's now 14 and he stopped really loving Disney 2 years ago. And I would drag him thinking that I want you to go and have fun. I want to be with you when you experience these things. And it took a while for me to realize he's overstimulated. He doesn't like the crowds. He doesn't like the lions. He doesn't like the heat. Nothing about this is enjoyable to him. So why am I trying to force something? Maybe that's kind of what this dad is wanting a little bit. He's not realizing like his daughter is giving her voice and giving her opinion that she doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes that's just having a teenager. It just kind of feels like your life is spiraling a little bit.
That's what I was going to say is a lot of this doesn't seem super abnormal. And I think giving a 16-year-old a voice and a choice is probably the best thing you can possibly do. So I'm going to say not the
I would
villain.
say, Dad, stay out of it.
It does feel a lot like Dad is forcing the narrative on this one, but she does say, like, we're going to plan a whole trip for the family later. So I kind of don't see the big deal. Dad was already staying home anyway, right? They said Dad has seasonal work.
Just upset he doesn't get the house to himself now.
Yeah. Hey, to be fair, I would too. That's like the perfect scenario. That happened to me a few weeks ago, remember? I randomly had the house to myself for one night and it was crazy. It was literally perfect. And for any Smart Moms travel agents listening today, Hidden Mickey will be perfect.
Yeah, I think this kind of goes into a conversation of like they have been willing to have one-on-one trips. They have been willing to have like girls trips with combined families.
Yeah.
Like the 16-year-old is just trying to exercise some of her autonomy, right?
Yeah. I think the lesson today is we all stress too much about perception, social media, the way things should be, rather than just living in the moment, navigating the complications of life like we are all literally dealing with every single day. Katie's still very much like baby toddler, not really baby anymore, toddler, preschool.
Toddler, little kid.
I'm like really out of toddler completely, like for a while now, like little kid tween. And then Karla's full on teen.
Yeah.
And we've all got our full stages of chaos.
Yeah.
You know?
Sometimes we're villains, sometimes we're heroes, sometimes, we're just trying our best here.
Yeah. Yeah. Just got to do that next right thing, you know? All right. That was super fun, you guys.
I'm so glad you loved it. And if you guys are listening and you love this, be sure to let us know. Come on the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast, Facebook, Instagram. Leave a comment while you're listening. We want to know if you like this content so we can make more.
Yeah, we'll do this again faux show. I don't like to label people villains, but it is certainly fun to read and discuss if they are.
It would be fun if you dropped like your own story on our Facebook page and then we can establish if you're a villain or not.
If you've got thick skin, you can just AITV on our Facebook group and let us know. We'll weigh in for sure. We'll let you know.
AITV, yeah.
AITV on our Facebook group, Smart Moms Playing Disney Podcast. We will let you know what's up. All right, that was so much fun. Thank you both so much for sharing those stories with me and your opinions with not only me, but all of our smarties. That was a blast. We are going to go now to another agent interview. We did one few weeks ago previously, and now we're going to talk to another Smart Moms travel agent, learn a little bit more about her processes, and how she makes vacation planning super special and fun for all of her clients. Okay, Smarties, I am so excited. We ran a fun internal get-together contest with so many of our Smart Moms travel agents friends. And I am with Megan, one of our winners today, and I cannot wait to feature her. Megan, I do not know how to say the letters S and Z next to each other. My assumption is that one of them is just silent. So is your last name pronounced Szabo?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm here with Megan Szabo today. Megan, thanks so much for coming on.
Yeah, excited to be here.
But I want to start right at the beginning with you, Megan. Obviously, as Smart Moms travel agents, we can book all kinds of vacations, which we talk about all the time. However, this podcast and most of our specialties really are Disney. Would you say that that's true for you as well?
Yes, very much so.
And what specifically drew you to wanting to become a Smart Moms travel agent and authorized Disney vacation planner? What was your biggest inspiration going all the way back to the beginning?
I've always had a deep love for travel, like going to new places and experiencing like different foods and seeing, beautiful places all around the world. And I've always been the planner for friends and family all the way back to like college spring breaks. So I was like, why not make this passion into a profession and help other people experience these amazing, things. So
I love
yeah,
that. Turn your passion into a profession. That is like such a good way to say it. And you
yeah,
want, if you're somebody looking to go on vacation, you want somebody that's passionate about it,
right.
right?
Yeah.
You said you love to travel all over the world. What's your favorite place you've been?
Oh, definitely Hawaii. I've been there a couple of times and it's just insanely beautiful.
Have you been to Alani?
I have not. No, I my kids are begging begging us to go there, but no, that's definitely on the bucket list of places to visit.
Yeah, of course, Alani, the Disney resort out there in Hawaii. Have you been going to Disney your whole life? Were you somebody that like me grew up going?
Um, I went when I was little, and then I did not go back until we took our family ourselves. So there was a big time where I had not been. Then we're making it like at least a yearly thing with my family because we just fell in love with the magic and just everything about
Was
it.
there a specific moment that you were like, this is everything. This is what I need other people to feel. This is what I need to continue to feel with my family.
Just watching my girls there, just seeing the magic in their eyes really just made us fall in love. Seeing them experience it probably be what drew us to be like, we got to keep creating these memories at different ages because it's different every time we go.
I always say seeing it through your kiddos' eyes is so different. It's like seeing it for the first time. When you go with your kids,
Yes.
it is like a first trip because seeing it through their eyes
Mhm.
is more special than
Yeah.
anything else you've ever done. You said your girls. Tell me, how many kids do you have?
I have two girls. They are 10 and 6.
10 and 6. That's the same as me almost. Mine are,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Well, I have 3 kids, but I do 10 and 7.
Okay.
So we're right there in the same. We're in such a magical moment right now, don't you agree? It's such a good balance
Yes, for
of
sure.
the magic is so
Uh-huh.
real, but also we're park
Mhm.
warriors and we can go all day long.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
my favorite. So for somebody, let's talk more about your travel agent side of things, right? So for somebody that's never used a travel planner, somebody that's never worked with a Smart Moms agent,
Mhm.
tell me what it is that you love about doing it and what it is you do for your clients.
So we definitely offer an expert opinion, make it tailored personal to them, follow those deals and add them on when we can, make recommendations on what works, what doesn't work. What I love about it is just when they come back and say, that was just magical, that was amazing. And just getting to be a part of that is so fun.
Have you found that planning a Disney vacation, I say all the time, is sometimes for somebody that's never done it, it feels more complicated than planning Europe,
Yeah.
right? It all feels so foreign. It all feels
Yes.
so,
Yes.
people are like, I don't know what the difference is between a yacht club and all-star music. That may as well be like Germany and Australia. Like, I have no
Right.
idea. You know what I'm saying? People are so confused. And so when you're able to just break it down and do it literally for them, and then they say,
Mhm.
that was so magical. Do
Yeah.
you agree that on their own, it probably would have been more stressful before magical? And then, like
Oh,
with you,
yes,
it's like
absolutely.
magic comes first, right?
Yes.
That's so true. What do you think? What is something that families or guests may underestimate consistently about the difficulty in planning a Disney vacation?
I mean, there's so many tiny little details of things that people don't even think about. I mean, there's so many little details that go into it. Picking your lightning lanes. Do I even get multi-pass? There's always things that are coming new and changing. So just staying up on top of that and making sure the clients are aware.
Yeah. And if you break it down even further, it's like, what are lightning
Yeah.
lanes? What even is
Right.
multi-pass? Because you could say that now, and for somebody that's never been, they're like, well,
They have no idea.
I mean, for most of our smarties, I think we've educated
Yeah.
them and they know, but just your everyday average client, they're like, what is this thing and how do I add it to what I already have?
Exactly.
Because nobody wants to wait in line. Well, that's my
Right.
pro tip. I always say my pro tip is we're not waiting in line, you guys. We're moving on. We are skipping the line and we are avoiding meltdowns that come from standing in long summer lines.
100%.
What is your pro tip? Like, what is the one thing you always tell your clients, your calling card?
To plan, but not expect your plans to go according to your plan. To expect things to go awry, rides close, it rains. Have a general idea, but don't over plan and expect it because then you'll end up not having a great time. Yeah.
You mean, Megan, that Disney can't stop the rain?
Right. It is Florida.
Yeah, you're so right, though. I could not agree more. It's like you have to plan because if you don't plan, you're going to be hangry by 9 a.m. My daughter literally will say, I'm starting to get hangry, like in our everyday life, let alone at Disney World. So you have to have a plan, right?
Yes.
But you cannot be afraid to stray from that plan. It's important that you do stray from that plan at times, to be honest. Do you have any client stories that you just remember this trip was so memorable or something magical that maybe happened?
I have one of my first clients who has now been back 3 times, I believe. And she said she never would have gone if she hadn't planned it with me because she said there were so many details and so many things that she didn't know. And she just fell in love, just like we all do when we go there, and just keeps going back. So
Does she try different resorts every time she goes?
she has tried a couple, yeah, but she's taken different people, and her husband's coming this time and this next trip, and he's never been, so she's excited to show him around. But she's been different times of the year just to see the different decor and experience it at different times. So it's been fun to give her the love of Disney.
That is the thing about Disney too, is if you could go 4 times in one year and experience a different holiday or a different theming or different festival, and it's like a new trip, honestly. And especially if you have little ones, we all know that just turning 3 and almost 4 are different children.
Yes.
You know, both of those ages are still 3.
Right.
But it's different. You know, they grow and they evolve so much. So even twice in a year with kids that are kind of relatively the same age can be a completely new experience. Absolutely. What kind of trends are you seeing that people want with their Disney vacations right now, would you say? Like, are you noticing people want more park, people want better resort, or have you noticed any, or do you like to navigate people to where like you're like, we have to park hop, you guys? Do you have anything like that?
Definitely wanting to visit all 4 parks, not leaving any out. I've seen adding in some rest days, which is always important.
Why do you like a rest day?
It's nice to just hang out, enjoy the resort that you're staying at because they're all so great in their own way. Get some pool time and just not be so exhausted where you're not going to enjoy park after park. We like to build those in for sure.
Absolutely. Why do you think, and this is just a personal question, why do you think Disney has such a lasting emotional pull? So for me, I've been going my whole life, and every single time I go in the parks, I will still cry. I'm like, is that something that's just chemically inside me? Because I don't think so. You know, I think Disney has this effect on people.
They definitely do. I mean, we grew up with these stories and the magic, so it's just brings you back to childhood times where everything's just easy and magical and exciting. And
Totally.
Yeah.
I agree. Any advice or tips you want to tell anybody, any smarties while they're listening?
Definitely just book with a Smart Moms agent. They can guide you on making a magical vacation and then become your best Disney friend there for advice and trip planning. And
isn't that so true too, Megan? Like, don't you feel like you become really good friends with your families that you're planning with and planning for?
Yes. I love getting all the photos and everything and becoming part of their trip.
Yeah. And especially when you have, like you were just mentioning a bit ago, your repeat client, when you have families that you've been planning with their kids and you've been watching them grow up and experience all of these different things, we are like friends. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's so cool. All right. Well, we're going to do a lightning lane. But before we do, where can our smarties find and connect with you on social media?
So I am Memory Maker Meg is my Instagram handle.
All right, at Memory Maker Meg. And do you have any communities on Facebook or anything you want to plug?
Yes, I am part of Smart Moms Plan Cruises. So we talk about all different cruise lines and advice and things over there.
What's your favorite cruise line?
Royal Caribbean, but I'm going on my first Disney cruise this summer. So we'll see if that takes top choice there.
I can promise you that it will. Which ship are you doing?
The Wish.
I love the Wish.
I
love the Wish so much. Oh my gosh, you're gonna have the best time. So much fun. So amazing. All right, well, I'm gonna need a follow-up on if Disney passes Royal once you do the Wish, because I really believe that it will. Okay, but before we go, we're going to do a lightning lane. We do this on many, many of our episodes. And what the criteria is here is I just need you thinking fast. First answer that comes to mind, okay?
Okay.
They're all Disney related questions, and you throw your answer at us. Let's impress Stacy, our editor, with how quickly you could give these answers.
Okay.
All right. What is your favorite Disney resort?
Boardwalk.
Ooh, love Boardwalk. Best restaurant on Disney property?
I like a Trattoria Al Forno. Enjoy that.
You are talking to a Trattoria Al Forno lover. It's one of my all-time favorites. There you go. This is unsolicited backup to something I say literally all the time. Who's your favorite Disney character?
Ariel.
What ride will you never skip?
Cosmic Rewind. Guardians.
Oh, same. What's your best song? Best song you've gotten on Guardians?
September. That's my favorite.
Same. Do you like to rope drop or sleep in?
Rope drop.
Ooh, what's your favorite Epcot festival?
Food and wine
The
festival.
Food and Wine Festival. Yep. All right, fair enough. And last but not least, what's your favorite go-to Disney snack?
There's so many good ones, but probably cheeseburger spring rolls.
Ooh, all right. Well, Megan, that was so much fun. Smarties, you can connect with Megan, follow her on Instagram and her Facebook group. Everything's tagged in today's show notes. She is awesome out there doing what she's doing. We are so happy to have her featured here on today's episode and connect with her. This conversation was so much fun. Megan, I cannot thank you enough.
Thank you so much.
We'll see ya. That is going to do it for us on another episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. We hope you had fun today, and we want to thank our very special guest, Megan, once again. It's been so much fun featuring other Smart Moms travel agents right here on this podcast. And until next time, we'll see you real soon.
Sorry, Stace. I need to adjust so I can see.